What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. It was looking bleak again for the Suns last night. The Clippers just methodically were kicking their ass for the first 2.5 quarters. They built a 23-point lead in the late third. The body language was bad. Bradley Beal went out of the lineup again. Kevin Durant and Mike Budenholzer get into it on camera, kind of a little bit of a physical altercation that got a little heated. And by the way, before we go any further, this is one of my biggest pet peeves is the way this kind of thing is covered. Losing sucks. Nobody looks like they're having fun when they're losing. And it's so annoying because if they looked like they were having fun when they were losing, we'd call them a bunch of losers anyway. It's like there's nothing you're actually allowed to do when you're losing that's not going to get you in trouble. And that's so stupid. And you can literally see KD after the initial confrontation, like seconds later, you can see it like dawned on him that like obviously that wasn't a good look. And he turned and like reapproached Bud and they had like a different conversation. And like these are some of the most competitive people in the world. Every single person in that jersey or on that coaching staff got there by being a savage competitor relative to their peers. You don't think they're going to be kicking and screaming a little bit when the shit hits the fan? That's normal, okay? So, like, I feel like that gets a little bit overplayed. That said, things are looking bleak for the Suns. Not about their body language, but just strictly in the basketball that they were playing. But Kevin Durant in the late third quarter started hitting shots, and the Suns started to gain some life. Biggest thing that screamed off the screen was their overall commitment to the defensive end of the floor, just them flying around in their rotations. Budenholzer seemed to find 7 guys that he trusted down the stretch. Obviously, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. For the centers, Mason Plumlee and Nick Richards. On the wing, Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. And then Colin Gillespie, who was the role player hero of this game, basically providing what they hoped to receive from Tyus Jones this season, which is like a little bit of ball handling, a little bit of spot-up shooting and scoring, and then attention to detail on defense, which has been an area that Tyus has struggled in all year. Not singling out Tyus, like just about every Sun has struggled in that department, but Colin was just doing his job. And though that group was guarding, they had some limitations. Like Gillespie had to guard Harden and pick and roll a bunch, and Harden got free and got some good looks because he's much bigger and stronger, and there's obviously some advantages there. Zubac did some damage because of his massive size advantage on the front line. They gave up some offensive boards because they're a bad rebounding team. They had some limitations that were still on display, but I thought Kevin Durant did an incredible job on Kawhi Leonard, basically erased him from the game down the stretch. Like he's always been one of the better Kawhi Leonard defenders because of his length, but he put together some incredible reps on Kawhi last night. And then the whole group was just committed to the job of rotating, contesting shots, fighting for every loose ball, and that allowed them to compete, at least well enough on that end, for their offensive gifts to carry them over the top. We talked about KD's unbelievable shot making, and then Gillespie hit a bunch of big shots. He had a beautiful scoop shot, driving a closeout off the left wing, over rim protection, just put it high and soft off the glass. He had a trailing 3 in transition off a pass from Devin Booker. And then the shot of the game, KD runs a little ball screen off of the right wing, and in the process, Gillespie's man had to tag the roller, and KD just threw a beautiful pass across his body to Gillespie, who kind of relocated up to the right wing, and he knocked it down. It was a huge shot that ended up being the dagger in that one. A nice palate cleansing win for the Suns. Stan Van Gundy was harping throughout the entire broadcast about the Suns' effort and just their overall willingness to compete. This is something I've been hitting on the show nonstop. Like, playing winning basketball is actually a giant pain in the ass. It requires so much running, so much physicality. You have to be so locked in mentally all the time on what you're supposed to do. There just has to be this top-down commitment to the details, to be a good defensive team, to be a good rebounding team, to be a team that can win on the margins, like in transition. It's difficult, and it's a job that they haven't been committed to doing. And Stan Van Gundy's right. When they do it, all of a sudden, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker feels like enough. Now, I'm pessimistic about the Suns actually generating real momentum in that area because it's not a natural part of their basketball personality. And this is why I've been advocating for a change in approach this summer in terms of the roster build. They need to bring in certain types of players that kind of have that as a natural baseline. The Lakers have been such a perfect example of this to me this year, with them being such a bad defense to start the year and such a good defense as of late. All you did is flip the character of the team by changing a few personalities. oh, we're gonna bring in Dorian Finney-Smith instead of D'Lo. D'Lo's a very good player, but D'Lo has always left a lot to be desired in terms of his attention to detail. DFS is in the league because of his attention to detail. Jared Vanderbilt, when he's healthy, is one of the best defensive players in the league. It brought a level of engagement out of LeBron. Even little stuff like instead of playing, two-way guys that are or like guys like Jalen Hood-Schifino or something like that, we're going to play Jordan Goodwin, just an ass-kicking guard who competes and plays hard. And so as a result, you flip some of these personalities, and suddenly the Laker roster has like a lot more natural motor. And when you surround offensive superstars with natural motor, it allows the offensive superstars to overcome a gap that is achievable to do because they're getting so much contribution in the details down the line. I think that's the move here. It's not going to happen. I think they're going to trade KD. There was another report yesterday that they view Devin Booker as a foundational piece. I genuinely believe that another offseason of some worthwhile switches in terms of the types of role players down the roster and just their character, their basketball character, will go a long way towards making Kevin Durant and Devin Booker a viable foundation. It just has to be something that is a organizational goal to bring in ass kickers that do their job everywhere on the floor. It was an impressive demonstration of resilience by the Suns last night. You can either lay down and get your butt kicked, or you can choose to fight, and the Suns chose to fight last night.